Hi, everybody. Hi. Oh boy, here comes the peanut gallery. Oh yeah. Say hi, Coco. Every time, as soon as they know I'm live, every single time, they have to make an appearance. Go play. Okay. All right. Hopefully, you're able to find me. A little bit of a snafu. Had everything scheduled and uploaded and ready, and then I went to look for my stream to join it, and it wasn't there. So I had to figure another one out really fast. So here we are. Who knows what happened? Probably something I did or didn't do. So that was a few minutes of really being upset with myself, and so it's a good day, I guess. Well, hi, Ronnie Lynn. It's a good day to have a positive affirmation Tuesday about appreciating ourselves. Because I didn't appreciate myself very much 5 minutes ago when I couldn't find my live stream to get into. And I think it's human. I was upset. I was panicked because I was supposed to go live, and so I had to, jump through a bunch of hoops. And I'm trying not to think about it, but I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking, what did you do? Well, hi, Agatha. Welcome. What did you do? What didn't you do? You idiot. You should have checked this earlier. Because every time I do it, it's always there. So I was really beating myself up for a minute. But look, managed to get on and go live within 5 minutes, even with the snafu and having to run around and change everything. Well, hi, Mary Lou. But I was really beating myself up there for a minute. And I shouldn't, because that maybe happens one time out of 30 times. So, 29 times I get it right? And don't give myself a pat on the back. And then the time that I get it wrong, boy, beating myself up for that, right? I think that's human. I think that's human nature to not give ourselves enough credit and to not give ourselves the credit that we deserve for doing whatever it is that we do, especially when we don't want to do it, like things that have to do with basic adulting. I mean, who really wants to do the dishes? Who really wants to pay the bills, right? Who really wants to do the laundry and keep the house cleaned, go to work, do the banking, whatever it is, right? Nobody really wants to do that. And hey, a lot of people don't. Don't fool yourself. There are a ton of people that haven't done the dishes or vacuumed their house. Don't go to work when they could. I'm not talking about people that, legitimately can't go to work. I'm talking about people that could work, but just aren't very motivated by it. There are plenty of people that don't pay their bills. Plenty of people that don't make their beds and do the laundry. I promise you. Okay, so don't fool yourself in thinking, well, why should I get a gold star for doing it? That's basic adulting. You're right, it's basic adulting. But it doesn't mean that we run towards it. Oh, yay, I get to adult today. Who does that? It's not fun. And so whatever it is, I'm just using that stuff as example. Whatever it is, we don't give ourselves credit. I mean, I feel relief after it's done. That's for sure. But do I give myself credit, for getting up and doing it when I didn't want to do it? You know, I keep myself on a schedule because of the ADD. You know, so um, then what's funny is the day rolls around when I'm supposed to do XYZ and I don't do it. Oh man, it's just right here all day long, all day long. You know, I find it hard to give myself credit, but I do try now and again. I think that's normal. We're not. How many of us were raised, to really be proud of ourselves? I was raised with the mindset of like nobody likes a braggart. Nobody likes somebody that thinks so much of themselves, right? Not versus good job. Oh my God, you should be proud of yourself for whatever, right? I wasn't raised like that. So it's hard. It doesn't come naturally. It doesn't come naturally to give ourselves credit. And what makes it even harder is if you know anybody that's like really vain or arrogant, or so conceited, it's such a turnoff, right? So then you're just like, ooh, I don't want to be like so and so. I don't want to be, I don't want anybody to think of me like that. But it's hard. It's not something. I think that most of us, not in my generation, I don't know what they're doing with kids today. Most of my generation, we weren't taught to appreciate ourselves and love ourselves and accept ourselves and all that. But Ronnie says, I live alone. I haven't made my bed in ages, but I wash the sheets. Well, Ronnie, give yourself credit for washing the sheets. And hey, if the unmade bed doesn't bother you, more power to you, right? I'm not trying to get on anybody that doesn't vacuum twice a week or once a week or whatever it is. I'm not getting on them for that. I'm just saying that, I even forget to appreciate myself for doing those things because I live alone, so it's all on me. If I didn't do it, it would really suck, and it would really bother me, if my house wasn't somewhat together. I mean, for one, I have the trach, so I gotta stay on top of dusting and vacuuming, and stuff like that, because otherwise it just gets really hard. It causes other things, but then I have OCD too, so I have to do it for other reasons, right? But I don't always want to. But I tell you what, I never do. I never appreciate myself for doing what I do all by myself. And like I said, I think that that's human nature. But while I don't necessarily appreciate myself or show appreciation to myself and give myself credit for certain things, I'll tell you what, I'm the first one in line to beat myself up if something goes wrong. And that's got to change. That's got to change. That's not cool. That's not cool. Everybody should have a healthy, you should have a healthy idea, right, about what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, so that when your behavior isn't acceptable. I mean, you should have some kind of objective awareness of when you're not maybe being the best version of you that you could be in any given situation. But nobody should be their biggest critic. nobody should be the first one in line. You know, what it's like, oh, okay, it's time to beat up Mary Lou today emotionally. Who's in, you know, and Mary Lou, I'm just using you as an example. Mary Lou shouldn't be the first one to go me, right? Okay. So, Mary Lou says I was trained pretty young to do things like cook and clean the house out of no choice of my own. And even today I clean when something needs to make the bed every day. Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. I mean, the house, I didn't really have responsibilities like that from a young age, for sure. It was always done. But, I mean, as a teenager, I think, of course, my room would get pretty out of control. But as an adult, I mean, like 18, as soon as I got my first place, things had to be just so. And I've always been that way. And I mean, since 18 anyway, that's going on, 37, almost, 38 years. And, but I've talked about this before. A lot of things changed for me when I hit 18, and I could create my own standards because I had lived with so much dysfunction. But the house may have been clean, but that was about the only thing clean in that house, because the people, talked about this, my family was just foul. So, I mean, not just, I mean, we were all bathed and we were all, we all looked presentable, but inside of those people, it was just disgusting. And so as soon as I hit 18 and got my own place, where I had certain standards for everything. And in terms of the house cleaning, and that's just an example, cleaning the house, paying the bill, because it's not fun stuff to do, right? Adulting, being an adult, being a grown-up isn't everything I thought it was going to be when I was younger, and I couldn't wait to be a grown-up. It is not quite what I thought it was going to be like. But, and that's just an example. Because a lot of people don't do those things because they're not fun. And nobody wants to do them. But you could run that, the things that aren't fun but still need to be done. Addressing, when relationships aren't working in your life, and looking for a new job when the job you have is toxic and just draining you. Going to school because you want to better yourself when you're already working 40 hours a week and taking care of the house. Those are things that people should really give themselves credit for and really appreciate their drive. Mary Lou says, and do the things, so she makes the bed every day, and she does the things that need to get done because you were forced to by, so you were trained, I mean, and it's something that you haven't broke. But, I mean, aren't you glad in a way? I mean, it probably sucked when you were doing it as a kid, but aren't you glad, that you have that kind of work ethic when it comes to keeping your house, clean? And even though it's not fun, I mean, don't you appreciate that even though it was something that you really hated to do as a child, it's something that you've kind of come to embrace as an adult, and therefore you can take some pride, I'm sure, in your house, right? This is by 14, you had to be a mother to your younger brothers. You totally missed out on your teenage years. You had that. I mean, that happened to a lot of people, right? that happened to a lot of people. A lot of people were latchkey kids, you know, from our generation anyway. They had to take care of themselves after school if their parents were working, and had to take care of siblings, and probably still happens today. Ronnie Lynn says her mom emphasized growing up that having an experience was more important than an unmade bed. And Ronnie Lynn, it sounds like that's something that you've embraced as an adult, and it's probably made your life a whole lot fuller, right? And so these are things you should appreciate that about yourself. Yeah, and you should appreciate the things that you've held on to from your childhood that have elevated your life, that have made it better, and appreciate yourself for the things that you changed, because it's not how you wanted to live your life when you got older, right? We just have to learn how to appreciate ourselves, and even appreciate ourselves, the things about ourselves that aren't the best, aren't the best sides of ourselves. You kind of have to appreciate those too, because I've said before that, you know, I think that knowing our weaknesses is equally as important as knowing our strength, right? And when you really know what your weaknesses are, and know where you're gonna fall short, or you're just not gonna follow through with this or that, or X, Y, or Z isn't for you, and you're able to say that, no, that's not for me. I'm gonna opt out of this one, guys, because I'm not gonna be any fun if I go do this with you. That's not my thing. Wow, what a thing to say! What a thing to be able to say, right? When you know your weaknesses, you can save yourself and other people a whole lot of grief. And so you should even appreciate that when you're grown up enough to go, yeah, I suck at that, or yeah, I just hate that. I hate that. I wouldn't do that with a gun to my head. And you're able to say it to people, and you feel comfortable about it, and everybody else feels comfortable about it, and you can get on with your life. You should appreciate that too. So there's, you know, we're not just talking about house cleaning or making the beds or chores, but appreciate the times that you're able to show up for yourself and let others off the hook, right? So by the time I was on my own at 17, I did all the things that needed to get done, but I felt good because I wasn't forced to do it. Yeah, because then it was by choice, right? And it was your place, and you know, you didn't feel like an indentured servant of some sort doing somebody else's grunt work, right? But there's all kinds of different things that we can appreciate ourselves for. Like I said, you can appreciate, you know, when you do the adulting that isn't fun, the chores and the banking and the bills and the house cleaning and the cooking and the dishes and the laundry, and you can appreciate that. You can appreciate yourself when you prioritize the things that matter to you, because that's a form of self-care. So if you're somebody that likes to travel and you make a point to plan a vacation and save for it and go on it, and you should appreciate yourself for that, because not everybody does it. Not everybody gets to do it. Not everybody would reprioritize things for that. You should appreciate yourself when you buy something nice for yourself, when you treat yourself. You should be just as thankful for those gifts or that meal that you ordered in or ate out as you would be thankful and appreciative to somebody else that gifted it to you, because you gifted it to yourself. These are all these little opportunities to have self-appreciation, right? You probably never even thought about it like that before. Or if you're craving a certain meal, and it's, and maybe you live alone, and it's a pain in the butt to cook for just one person, and you get up and you do it, you should appreciate that meal. You don't have to say the Lord's Prayer before every meal, but you can sure say, "Thank you, Ronnie. This looks great. I appreciate you getting in there and doing this." Right? All kinds of to things that just seem silly, but you should appreciate yourself when you think you're down to the last roll of toilet paper and you open up the pantry cupboard and there's a whole another pack of 12. You're going to appreciate that next time you have to go to the bathroom. You should be thankful for it. You should be thankful for it. And you should be thankful for you, for providing things for you. And you should appreciate, if you provide things for other people, you should appreciate, it doesn't have to be generosity when it comes to material things. You can appreciate your generosity of spirit. If you're somebody who, when a friend needs you, you're right there. If you're somebody that, makes the effort to check in on your friends, appreciate that about yourself. Because not everybody does it. Everybody has different ways of showing what relationships mean to them. One's not better than the other, but when you do show up for a relationship, whatever kind it is, and you give it your all, and you make sure that the person knows that they're important to you and you're making time for them, you should be able to tell yourself, I'm a good friend. You should have a list. I bet you we could all make a list of 20 things that are messed up about ourselves, where we dropped the ball. But you should be able to have a list of 20 things that are really awesome about you too. Are you a good friend? Are you a good cook? Are you a good gardener? Are you a good decorator? Do you have a good eye for that? Are you a good typist? Or, things like that. I don't know what it is, but you should know. We should all know that about ourselves, right? All right, let's take a look at this reading today. It is called Appreciating Ourselves. All right, and starts with a little quote. We are the greatest thing that will ever happen to us. Believe it. It makes life much easier. And that quote says it came from this book, somewhere in this book. So, and here's the body of the reading. It is time to stop this nonsense of running around picking on ourselves. We may have walked through much of our life apologizing for ourselves, either directly or indirectly, feeling less valuable than others, believing that they know better than we do, and believing that somehow others are meant to be here and we are not. We have a right to be here. We have a right to be ourselves. We are here. There is a purpose, a reason, and an intention for our life. We do not have to apologize for being here or being who we are. We are good enough and deserving. Others do not have our magic. We have our magic. It is in us. It doesn't matter what we've done in our past. We all have a past woven with mistakes, successes, and learning experiences. We have a right to our past. It is ours. It is worked to shape and form us. As we progress on this journey, we shall see how each of our experiences will be turned around and used for good. We have already spent too much time being ashamed, being apologetic, and doubting the beauty of ourselves. Be done with it. Let it go. It is an unnecessary burden. Others have rights, but so do we. We are neither less than or more than. We are equal. We are who we are. That is who we were created and intended to be. That, my friend, is a wonderful gift. And the affirmation is, help me own my power to love and appreciate myself. Help me give myself validity instead of looking to others to do that. Yeah, right? You ever get upset when you think somebody doesn't appreciate you? And you kind of harbor this little resentment. They didn't thank you, or they didn't thank you enough, or whatever it is, right? Well, sister, brother, start with yourself first. Did you appreciate yourself? Were you thankful and grateful and in awe of who you were when you did whatever you did for somebody else? Because not everybody's a giving person, not giving of their time, not giving of themselves, not, not giving of anything. So when you do give, do it and release it with love, but appreciate yourself for being that kind of a person, that kind of a mother, brother, sister, friend, coworker. I mean, coworkers can give each other gifts all the time. A gift of helping out, a gift of helping solve a problem. But appreciate you. Appreciate yourself. Appreciate yourself first. Appreciate yourself always. I bet already today, it's only 12:30 here, but I bet already today that you've done something that you could pat yourself on the back for. I bet. And I bet there'll be a lot more by the time the day is done. I remember when, and maybe people still do it, but I remember when somebody wrote a book or something, and it might have been on Oprah, but gratitude lists were a big thing. And every night before you go to bed or during the day before you would start your day, you would make a list of X amount of things you were grateful for. And those were cool. It really did help, like, shift your mindset, you know? But I realized one time that, like, the majority of the things on my gratitude list I was so grateful for, but I was the reason. I was the one providing those things. Or I was the reason that I was here and not there. But it didn't even occur to me to be grateful to myself. It didn't even occur to me. Didn't even occur to me that one of those things on that gratitude list should have been me for whatever whatever was going on wherever I was and whoever I was at that moment. I should have been appreciative for that, because I'll tell you what, I'm not perfect at all. At all. I can tell you all my faults. Fast too. But I'm tell you this. This girl has turned out 180 degrees different than I should have from that house I came from. I should not remotely resemble the person I am today, good or bad. So Mary Lou says she never thought of things like that. Yeah, sometimes it's just a little shift in your thinking. Mary Lou said, "Oh, Mary Lou, thank you." Listen, we all have people that appreciate us in their lives, right? We do. We all have people. I appreciate you guys so much, right? I do. And it just never occurs to us to appreciate ourselves. Yes. Listen, if you're going to be your own worst critic, even in a court of law, there gets to be two sides. Both sides get to be represented. Okay? You're the prosecutor telling everybody how horrible you are and what you did and why you did it and lock you up and throw away the key or whatever, right? You got the public defender going, not so much, right? If you're going to carry around a critic, it's going to just sit on your shoulder and point out when you drop the ball, or you don't even drop it, you just kind of fumble it a little bit and hold on to it. If you're going to carry around a critic that's going to, beat you up for those things, get some fair representation there. And carry around a cheerleader that goes, yeah, you dropped that ball. Oh, look at that. You dropped that ball. And this one goes, yeah, and you picked it up and recovered, man. And you went the distance. Look at you. Good for you. Yeah, but she dropped the ball first. Yeah, but most people, when they drop the ball, don't pick it up and do what she did, right? Have some fair representation there. Try to, when you beat yourself up about something, try to come right back in with something else that you do great. Oh, I burnt the meatloaf. Got distracted. That sucks. Nobody makes mashed potatoes like mine. Thank God I made enough of those, right? Try. We're probably going to be the best versions of ourselves right before we kick the bucket. That's okay. I just want to meet her. I just want to meet that best version of myself. Just once. And go, good for you, man. Good for you. You really came through some adversity. And you did it with as much grace as you had. I mean, you didn't, when you were human, you were human. You did that great too. But good for you. You know, don't let the critic win. Don't let the critic win. You wouldn't let the critic win for your kids, for your spouse, or for your friend, or somebody that you loved. Don't let the critic win for you either. It's okay to be it's okay to champion yourself. It doesn't mean that you're, walking through Safeway or whatever your grocery store is, throwing yourself a ticker tape parade and, and singing, I'm so great, you're not doing. But, you've met people that have not arrogance, but that healthy self-confidence. And it's nice to be around, and it's inspiring to be around, and it's comforting to know that there can be at that level of self-care and awareness and love and acceptance. It's so nice to be in the presence of somebody like that. Be that person. You can. I think there's very few people in life that just have no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Very, very few of those. Just shine a little light on yourself when you do something awesome. Ronnie, when you wash those sheets, man, you appreciate that. Appreciate that. Do it. Mary Lou, when you clean that house, because that's your standard, and not because somebody's telling you that you have to, you appreciate that about yourself, because we all know people that don't do it. And it's not fun going to their house. And not fun for them either, because you know that they tried their butts off like 20 minutes before you got there. And they're stressed and sweating, and the house is still a hot mess. So, and you love them, and you know that about them, and you're not going to visit the house, you're going to visit them. But appreciate the things that you do. But I'm guilty of not doing it. I should appreciate, sometimes I don't look forward to Thursdays. Thursdays are like a really busy day for me. That's the day that I literally all the blankets and the throws, that I put on the couches and stuff for the dogs, all those have to get washed and dried, and the bed gets stripped and, washed and dried, and the dogs get a bath. They get washed and they get dried. I blow dry them because I don't want wet dog smell, and everything gets put back to rights. I vacuum, I dust, and I swim deck, and I do the floors, and we go outside, so the dogs can run around. And some days I just dread it. But I'll tell you what, Thursday mid-afternoon when it's all done, I look around and I'm relieved, that it's done, and I should be appreciative because not everybody would do that every Thursday. I don't know very many people that give their dogs a bath every single week, but they sleep with me, and so they're going to take a bath whether they need it or not, and they're always on top of me. So right, I don't want to stanky dog on me. But I need to shift that relief to appreciation. And go, good for you. I'm not, it's done. Yeah, done for a week. And already the countdown begins till I have to do it again. No, I should shift that. I should be like, look at that. Thank you. Annette, look at that. Now we can relax. Have a glass of wine. What do you want to watch? Queen for a day. What do you want to watch? Look at what you've done. I should do that too. And I bet you can think of instances where you could try to turn that around. Can you guys think of one? Because I can tell you, this Thursday, I'm going to really try to do that for myself. I should be thanked for that. It's a shit ton of work. And I am grateful when it's done. But I need to show some personal gratitude and appreciation. And I bet you guys can think of that too. Just think of something. And just remember, that's what I talk about when we have these meetings, is it's just, it can start with one little thing at a time. Just one little shift. It doesn't have to be extreme. It can just be something that you just shift it. Just a little bit. But it always has to start with acknowledgement and intention, right? Because you can't change anything that you don't acknowledge. But I acknowledge that I don't appreciate me as much as I should. I just don't. I'll tell you, if I did everything that I do for myself and my home and my dogs and my neighbors, if I did all of that for somebody else and I didn't get shown appreciation, I would be one pissed off cookie. I would be so full of resentment. I would be so mad if I did everything that I do for myself for somebody else and I never got a thank you or appreciation of any kind. I would be mad. Well, I should be really mad because I haven't been thanking myself or appreciating myself. And me doing it for me doesn't make it any less than me doing it for somebody else. I am a somebody, and you are too. Ronnie says, when I made a wonderful meal, I'm taking care of Jess each day, food, water, maybe a new toy, clean litter box, pat on my back. But I don't feel that appreciation often enough for doing other things. But now you've acknowledged it, Ronnie. Now you've acknowledged it. Right? We've all acknowledged it. Because Ronnie, wouldn't you be upset if you did all that for somebody else? If you went to somebody else's house and you made them a really nice meal and you took care of their animal and you gave it food and water, brought it in a toy and cleaned the litter box, and you took out their trash and you washed their sheets, and right, and you did all of that, and they didn't say thank you or show you any kind of appreciation. See that face? Like, wouldn't you be like that? Wouldn't you be like, well, this one bleep, bleep, and bleep, bleep, and bleep, 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 right? Same thing for you, Mary Lou. If you went to somebody's house and did everything that you do for your home, and they didn't even acknowledge it or say thank you or go, wow, wouldn't you be like, wouldn't you? Because I'd be like, well, it's going to be a cold day in hell before I come and do this for this sucker again. Though I probably would. Because I'm a softie like that. I probably would do it a couple more times. But I'd be getting madder and madder every time. Right? If you'd be mad if you did the things that you do, that you take for granted, that you do for yourself. If you did it for somebody else and they took it for granted, that wouldn't sit right. It wouldn't feel good. So why would you want to keep on doing it? Right? You're somebody. You're somebody. You're doing nice things for yourself. You're doing the things that have to be done for yourself. And you should appreciate yourself as well. Okay, let's take a look at our affirmation card today. I do not know why it is written so itty bitty teeny weeny teeny. Yep, Mary Lou says pretty much, yeah, I'd be frustrated and I wouldn't want to do it again for the same person. At least now that we're all past this pretty much, right? No, you would be mad and you'd be thinking some things about it. You'd be thinking about it. But when you don't appreciate yourself, you don't think a thing about it, do you? You deserve a thank you too. You deserve a thank you too. You deserve to go, wow. You do. All right. So the question on our two-sided card, the question is, what is unique about me? Why am I unique? And when the reading, it says, other people don't have our magic. We have our magic. Right? Everybody does have their own brand of fairy dust that they sprinkle. Everybody. And it's unique to them. Because everybody's unique. Even if you're a twin, there's nobody like you. Even if you're a twin, each twin has its own weaknesses and its own strength and its own great qualities and its own personality traits that can use some work. What makes you unique? What makes you stand apart? What do you bring to the table? Right? Everybody. What is unique about me? Why am I unique? And then the affirmation is, I am unique. Right? And unique's a really cool word. Anybody ever gets offended by being called unique? Unique is like, yeah, hey, what makes you unique? Do you appreciate that and honor it? I might not be unique in the fact that I, keep my house clean or keep to a certain schedule or wash my dogs once a week. But I'm unique in the sense of that you never would have saw that coming from where I started from. I'm unique. I might not be the world's only survivor, but I am a survivor, and I've created a certain life for myself that I don't appreciate enough. And I should, because that's unique. Appreciate that about yourself. Honor it, acknowledge it, and just shift your mind. Next time you plan a vacation for yourself and you follow through and you plan and you save and you go and you enjoy it, thank yourself for it. Don't just appreciate the vacation, appreciate that got you there. Right? If you took somebody else on vacation and planned and saved and planned the things that you were going to do and set it up and got the flights ready and packed their bags and made sure nothing was forgotten and made sure there was enough spending money and got the hotel or the Airbnb, if you did all that for somebody else and they didn't say thank you, they ain't coming with me next year, right? So, next time you do this, I've had cats cleaning the cat litter box isn't the funnest of things. It has to be done. It has to be done. It has to be done for the cat. It has to be done for the house. It has to be done for you. Next time you do that, you make a great meal and you give Jess everything he needs, and you're a great cat mom, and appreciate yourself. Girl, I'm good. I really appreciate that I'm a good parent to my pet who can't take care of himself. Not all people are good pet parents. They aren't. Makes me angry, but they aren't. Okay? Mary Lou says we are unique in our own ways. You're right in it. Yeah. So appreciate that about yourself, and appreciate when you get up and you do the stuff that nobody gets up wanting to do. I don't jump out of bed every morning going, I get to take out the trash. Yeah. Not so much. But to do it, and I would appreciate it if somebody would come do it for me. So I better appreciate when I get it done myself. Oh, my pets are, Mary Lou says your pets love you for all that you do for them. Yeah, pets do. Well, pets, animals, they just love, right? They just love. They don't care what you look like, what the house looks like. They just want love and acceptance and kindness on top of the things that they need. They need shelter, and they need food, and they need water, and they need treats, and they need toys, and they need special blankets, and they need to sit on my lap no matter how bad, for hours and hours and hours, no matter how bad I have to go to the bathroom, and I don't want to disrupt them, and they need, yeah. Yeah, I've actually had people say that when they die, they want to come back as one of my animals. So I'm like, well, I don't know, but I'm a pretty good friend too. So, maybe you could just appreciate that you're my friend, not my dog. And we'll see about our next go. Right? But it's funny to have people say that, and I'm like, well, you could just, you could want to come back as one of my animals. That's great. It's a compliment. But you could just appreciate the fact that we're friends too. We get to do a lot of cool things that my animals don't get to do. So, anyways, and lots of petting. Oh my gosh, yes, lots and lots and lots of petting and kisses and all that. Makes them happy. Makes me happy too. So it makes me really happy. Makes me really happy when I know that they're happy and they're loved and they are spoiled and they are terrorists. They have been raised by an indulgent mother, but it makes me happy. It makes me feel good. So thank you. Thank you for showing up and for finding me, because there was that little bit of a snafu at the beginning. I don't know what I did, but listen, dropped the ball, picked it up, and we made it through today. Thank you for coming. Remember what we talked about today. And I hope that you've already thought about some ways that you can show yourself some appreciation for something that you already did today. Okay? Do it. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time to be here. And I hope you got something out of it for you, and appreciate the fact that you made the time to set the hour aside and be here to see what you could get out of it, to see if there was a different way of thinking about something, and to maybe hear something you didn't even know you needed to hear. I appreciate you showing up to show your support, and I will see you next Tuesday. Go out there and be kind, okay? But be kind to yourself first. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first, okay? I'll see you guys next